Hello and good afternoon, everyone. That's right, the bird and bear over my right shoulder. They're hanging out here at Boom's pad, and obviously, I wish they were showed a reveal yesterday. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is today is a special edition of the Xbox Factor podcast. We put a very special panel. I'm extremely privileged to be working with this group of incredible content creators. For a multitude of reasons. I'm very lucky with all of the content creators I put together because I couldn't have the shows if it wasn't, in fact, for everyone that takes the time out of their very busy day to stop by and kind of hang out and give back to this amazing community. We only have Boxenberger here for a little bit, and he's got to bounce out of here. So let's get to the introductions first, and then we'll get into what we're here to talk about. And that is the 24 hours later opinions regarding yesterday's Xbox Bethesda Showcase. Obviously, you saw that we did it live, like everyone did, basically. And we're here to talk about it. But Boxenberger, how are you, man? How you feeling?
I'm doing good, doing good. Excited for tomorrow. Let's see if they can rectify some of the things that went wrong yesterday. But yeah, overall, still pretty excited.
Yeah, me too. Again, we know there's going to be some new stuff there. We know there's going to be some deep dive stuff there. We know who's hosting it. I'm very excited to see what she brings
Who's
to the
hosting
table.
it? I don't know.
I have her right here. I believe it's Erin Ashley Simon. She is she's an entertainment and she's also an on-air talent for gaming on.
Okay.
And she's also an entrepreneur who has worked with Puma, Riot Games, and Xbox. And she was at the show yesterday, and I was watching some of the tweets from Paris Lily, who said that she's going to knock it out of the park. And you know what? She seems to have the gusto to do so. So I'm looking forward to seeing.
She's amazing.
Yeah. I've seen some of her stuff. I think she has a great talent. She has a great persona. So I think she's really going to do the showcase justice. Again, we just don't know what that showcase is going to contain, but whatever it is, it's an additional 90 minutes. And I'm kind of hoping that we do get some, some hardcore goodness in the form of Banjo-Kazooie, potentially some. Again, I don't know what we're going to get, folks. I'm going in there with zero expectations. But before we get into what happened yesterday and we kind of wait for people to file in, let's get into the introductions and continue. Zemi Games, welcome, brother. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Thank you so much for the invite. As always, I look forward to every time you send me a message saying, hey, you want to be on a show? So super excited to be here. And man, yesterday's show was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I gave it I'm still sticking with that 8 out of 10. I rewatched it in 4K this morning. I got to tell you, before we get to the rest of the introductions, really what hit was what I think Microsoft was hoping that would hit. Redfall unbelievably raised the bar for me personally. Starfield completely just slapped. And Motorsport in the middle just did everything you'd want a new racer from Turn 10 Studios to include, and that is most importantly ray tracing. The reflections were just mind-numbing. They hit on all three of those. I wish they would have had some more come to the table, but we'll get into that momentarily. Josh, N64 Josh, I should say. What's going on, brother? Welcome to the program.
What is up? I am so excited to be here. I'm still on cloud 9 from yesterday's presentation and cannot wait to jump into it with you guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there's no doubt about it. 34, I think it was a total of 33 or 34 games showing, including the triple Persona games. That was a big deal. The Kojima thing was, again, their push into Japan, Josh, is serious.
Big moves.
Big
plays.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking forward to that. But Web Dave, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. A lot of absorption, a lot of rewatching of the show, and just got through right before this watching Starfield again with my daughter who hadn't seen it yet because she was working, and she was just like, oh shit. She was absolutely blown away. So she's like, and showing how big it was, her face was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. All right, let's get into it, man.
It's going to be one of those games that I think envelops a lot of people's personal lives. There are some people like Azemi Games, for instance, who continues to run through the Elder Scrolls because he loves the franchise, he loves the world, he loves the game itself, and he's played it multiple times on multiple refrigerators, I'm sure, at this point, and other forms of where you can play your content. And Starfield looks to be one of those games that I think is going to encompass such an incredible amount of following. I think this is going to potentially bring a lot of people back to Xbox. I know that Bethesda and Phil and the team over at Xbox Game Studios are hoping so. And after what they showed yesterday, that end of show deep dive by Todd Howard, if it did not sell the game to you, then I don't know what you were watching, to be honest with you. There is a game that happens to be on the screen for me. If you're talking non-first party game of the show, this right here by the makers of Rick and Morty. My God, I thought I was watching a game from Insomniac. That is how impressed I was with this colorful world with weapons that speak to you. It's just madness. But let's get into it. But let's first bring in Boxenberger because he only has half an hour to be here. Boxenberger, let's talk, brother. You gave it. We'll let people, you'll give your score in a minute. Has anything changed for you personally since the reveal of the show yesterday? Because a lot of the times we are so taken aback by what we're seeing in both good and negative ways that we sometimes give a shoot from the hip score, and then we sit back.
That's true.
And then we
That's
sit back and then we watch it, because again, when you're producing a show and you're on a show, you want to put a show on for the people, you want to get excited, but you're not really one-to-one with the screen. There's a lot of things that you miss. I love to go back and watch the show again. I did that this morning.
I did that too.
What were your takeaways? Has anything changed in 24 hours for you personally?
Well, yeah, maybe a little bit. Some of the high emotions cooled down. So, of course, that helps to just sit there, watch it again, watch it in 4K. That's even more important because,
indeed,
it's still beyond me why none of those guys have figured out a way to stream in 4K. Especially Xbox, because they used to do that. You remember that first showcase with the Xbox One X?
Considering this is a recorded thing, it doesn't make any sense why it's not immediately displayed in 4K.
The only reason is parity across platforms, because Twitch doesn't support like 4K streaming or something. But yeah, it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't do the games justice. That's definitely something, but that wasn't the question. My shoot from the hip score yesterday in my post show was actually a little bit lower than yours. I gave it a 6.5. Maybe I can raise that today to a 7. I still think it was a great show overall with great games, but Xbox missed 2 very important things. And that does not necessarily has to do anything with the show or the games that they have shown, but more with what they have not shown. And I would feel like a hypocrite, honestly, if I would say anything different right now, because last week we gave all our predictions and our expectations. And boom, your question was to me, what does Xbox need to do to have a killer show? And I said 3 things. I said, they have to deliver gameplay. They have to deliver backup plan for 22, and they have to show some of the games that they have announced years ago.
Yep.
And they delivered on one of 3 things. They delivered gameplay, and they did that very well. It was from that point of view, it was the best Xbox show I've seen today. It wasn't CGI and more CGI. It was actual gameplay. It was developers explaining what's happening on screen, and I loved that. I really did. It's still beyond me that they have not a backup plan for 2022. We are in 22, and I know people don't want to hear it. I have seen it on Twitter, and it will cost me a lot of followers, but I'm an honest guy. It is the worst year Xbox has ever had, 2022.
You're not the only one to say that. You are
zero first-party games, and that's not an opinion, guys. That's a fact. They have nothing.
I want to back you up. I want to back you up right now. I want to back a Box of Burgers opinion as we welcome in 330 people already here. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out Double Barrel Gaming. I would feel remiss. I would even feel kind of shitty, pardon my French, if I didn't step up and say the Box of Burgers onto something. And here's why. Here's why, ladies and gentlemen. Beginning of this year, before the ABK announcement, we all of us, everyone here, Banjo Kazooie behind me, and everybody on this panel, the 335 people here, we had a thought that 2022 looked like this. Motorsport was one of them.
Yeah.
Deathloop was another.
Yeah.
Redfall at the back end of the summer, potentially early fall, and the granddaddy, the king of kings, the creme de la creme, if you will, was Starfield. I actually had people DM me and say, you know what, Boom, I'm going to be honest with you. That's not a good year for Xbox. And of course, I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you, pal, because that's a killer year. By just mathematics, that's one per quarter. Even though it didn't fall out that way, you can't argue that if those 4 games release in 2022, what you have is a stellar year on top of Game Pass and everything else. And Boxenberger, well, you're onto something, because now it appears, or it has been confirmed, that 3 of those 4 games are not releasing until next year, and there are some talks that Deathloop is not coming due to contractual situations with Sony having the marketing rights.
Yeah.
And you know what that does? That pulls the rug right out under everyone that is expecting Microsoft to slap. But please.
Exactly.
Continue.
Yeah. I think the community agrees that probably 2017 was considered so far the low point for Xbox, with only Forza and Super Lucky's Tale. But they also had the launch of the Xbox One X that year, which was a fantastic console. Yeah. So, and I'd argue now we have 0 games. I'm not counting Pentiment here. Sorry. But they have 0 games from the Xbox first-party studios this year. And of course, obviously no hardware. So, it is beyond me that after they acquired all these studios in 2018, we are sitting here in 2022 and having the actual low point in 21 years of Xbox. That is really, I have my issues with that, and I get everyone that agrees with me there. I can't defend anything on that. I know people want me to sugarcoat it and say, dude, we have so many other games coming to Game Pass. Yeah, we do, but still, first party games were promised. Every other publisher can deliver, Xbox can't. That's just the reality of it, and I can't sugarcoat that. So that was a takeaway or a big negative for me, honestly, on the Xbox Showcase.
Can I push just real quick?
Yeah, sure.
I feel like every first party, all of them, Nintendo, Sony, everybody's had delays this year.
Yes,
Breath
do.
of the Wild 2.
Everyone has released games this year.
Yeah, but
it's just a small pushback
again to just grab. And you are right, but here's there is a slight difference here. And again, I'm not going to defend no first party games this year. I'm not doing that. But what I'm going to say though is Sony's 2 games. And potentially their 3rd game, because God of War, we've heard from different sources now, even after Jason, the scumbag Schreier, went out and said, no, I had my sources tell me that it's coming. We just saw a press release, some Twitter stuff this morning that was dropped into my DM that it's not coming this year. It's going to be 2023. They're trying, but they don't want bugs like Horizon, so expect that to be delayed. That's fine. Yeah. That is perfectly fine.
Yeah, but they still had 2. They still already had 2 games pushed out, and
those were supposed to be last year. The same way.
I know, but last year they had Returnal and Ratchet and Clank, and they had Deathloop, and so it is.
I see what you're
I
saying.
can't sugarcoat it. I can't sugarcoat it. I'm sorry. I know people want me to. I can't.
No, you shouldn't.
Can't.
You shouldn't,
And
because look, I'm going to say something that you have said before, and this is where I have to defend Boxenberger. I'm not saying his opinion is right, wrong, that we're on the same page equally. I'm going to say that he's on to something, and here's why, ladies and gentlemen. Microsoft has currently 23 first-party studios. I understand COVID. Hell, I don't even want to go to the movie theaters, let alone have to go to work in an office packed with people and then bring that shit home to my family. So I understand the concerns, 100%. COVID is still a thing. It is still something to be concerned about. Don't sell yourself short. Be careful. With that said, limitless resources, a near $3 trillion company. Xbox has become as important to Microsoft as Windows currently is. So I'm not saying they're even. I'm saying that they have become as important as a money-making brand for Microsoft. With all of that combined, to me, it doesn't make any sense how we're going to go. Now, think about this. This is brought to my attention. I didn't even think about this. I think in 12 months. I don't think of corporate speak, like calendar. I think calendar 12 months. But think about this for a second, folks. Put this in your pipe and smoke it and see if you disagree with Boxenberger. The last first-party game that we had was Halo Infinite in December 5th.
Actually, it was November. They released it
earlier. But check it out. The last AAA first-party game that Xbox gamers received was December of 2021. We are not expected to get our next first-party AAA game until spring of 23. That is, and I'm not a mathematician here, folks, potentially 14 months between releases. Yeah. Boxenberger is correct in saying so. There is some critique regarding consistency to be had.
Yeah. So that's the one thing. And the other thing is, if you don't have that content, and obviously they don't, then hype your roadmap. Get us excited for what's coming. And they didn't do that either. At least not the games everyone wanted to see. People wanted to see Hellblade, Perfect Dark, Fable, Avowed, Project Mara, the game from Compulsion in Exile, whatever. Obviously, not every of those games were expected to be there. But
what about some new announcements? What about the Banjo one that was rumored to be there?
Something
Killer
new,
Instinct.
The announcement of the new Compulsion game, or like you want Killer Instinct, something like that. There was nothing, and that the problem was because they limited themselves to this. We are only going to show the next 12 months, and while I get the general idea why they did that, I think they limited themselves, and without having a game this year, not showing what's coming down the line and get that hype up, is just a miss in my opinion. Now, that being said, the things that they have actually shown were awesome, and that's why I'm torn with this show. I really think it is not good to have no games and not show that there was anything from those 20 announced games that they have, and the 15 plus that we don't know of yet, nothing. And then that's not good. But the stuff that they have shown looked awesome. I mean, come on, how can you argue Starfield? Like you said, this game is gonna blow everyone away. It looks incredible, even better than my wildest dreams. You guys know how much a fan I am of Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls in general, and of course of Fallout and Todd Howard. So it looks amazing. I didn't expect that Space Combat to look that awesome. 1,000 planets, guys. Where did we start? A couple of years ago with Pong. Like 2 white pixels, and now we can travel to 1,000 planets. It's awesome. It's awesome. Then we have Redfall.
Which
pleasantly surprised. I was
amazing.
Pleasantly surprised. I was like, I don't know, Back 4 Blood, copycat, something like that. But no. Fully open world, Borderlands type of game. I love the glasses. I love the look. And it's Arcane. It's always something special with them. Everyone who plays.
The humor, the writing was phenomenal.
Yeah. So awesome showing. Forza Motorsport looked incredible. It's on screen right here. Look at that. The non-4K footage doesn't do that game justice. It looks phenomenal, and it did something that I was hoping to see for so long now. I have said that in so many videos. I don't want that extra power that we have now in our consoles just for graphics. I want better physics simulation, and that is something that they deliver here. They increase like the tire interaction with the road by a factor of 48 times. Awesome stuff. Then we have a couple of awesome indie games. Hollow Knight is the best Metroidvania ever made. I stand by that. And we have Silksong coming day one Game Pass. A Blake's Tale is going to be awesome. There was good stuff in that show. And my highlight besides Starfield, of course, Diablo 4.
Oh, that showed really well. Holy cow, that the game looked incredibly
I mean, we have seen gameplay 3 years ago, I would argue. In 2019, they have shown the first gameplay. But the awesome stuff was that they actually showed gameplay running on the Series X.
Yes.
Usually you don't know which kind of high-end rig that game is running now. This is what we are going to play in the first half of 2023. And I think that is the awesome takeaway. As bad as 2022 is for Xbox, 23 is probably going to be the best year for Xbox ever. Look at that first half alone. We don't know about the second part of 23, but the first half of 23, Forza Motorsport, Redfall, Starfield, Diablo. Guys, this is insane. And this is why I'm so torn. I really liked what they have shown. I just didn't like the fact that no first-party games for like 14 or 15 months, like you said, and nothing of the roadmap further down the line. I mean, we have seen Fable CGI trailers 2 years ago and still don't know what the art style of that game is. We have seen Perfect Dark and tweets about people actually playing to Perfect Dark, and we haven't seen anything of this. We had, and the list can go on. We know about so many unannounced games. Why not show us something there? So these are the two sides of this thing. And that's why I said, like, yesterday my gut feeling was, oh man, this wasn't there. I gave it a 6.5. I might increase that today a little bit higher to a 7 or so, because after rewatching everything and the emotions cooling a little bit down, obviously some good stuff is coming. It's just not coming in 22. And that's a bummer. But overall, the show was solid. There's no arguing there. And I can totally understand anyone who has a different thought about this. But for me, I wanted to see a bit different stuff at the showcase. So
good stuff. Listen, as promised yesterday, I didn't get a chance to read the super chat, so I want to read all the super chats that came out yesterday and read the few that came today. Your baby Farva dropped a super chat yesterday of $5. Said blessings boom panel and chat, had to pull up. Great to be an Xbox player. Have a great show. Percolator 9000, good friend of the program, dropped a $5 super chat and says, hello everyone, I'm getting to the stream. I like to watch alone. No offense, but keep up the good work. Happy as a lot of people like that. Nightwolf 3186 dropped a $2 super chat yesterday. Said I really want to see more State of K3. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Nightwolf 3186 basically dropped an additional $2 super chat and said that saved the show. And I think he's talking about Starfield. ST $5 super chat says I'm a diehard fan, but this show was mid. MID. Starfield sounds great on paper, looks so in motion. That I disagree with. 2022 is empty. This was not it. I'm so disappointed. And again, you're absolutely entitled to feel that way. Danny Passion Official dropped a $2 super chat and says it was good. It was a good show. Something for everyone. Game Pass day one. Important point. Brett Bingham, good friend of the program, dropped a $10 super chat and says, boom. You're 100 boom. Thank you for that. He says super disappointed for the same reason. Bored for 75 minutes. A failed sale to an Xbox stand like me as well. concerned. T10 didn't mention the amount of content in Forza Motorsport. He actually DM'd me, said that he felt a little bit better after the show. But he's still, I get what you're saying. Finessful J, who's in the chat today, dropped a very generous $10 super chat yesterday and said, always keep it 100. Real fans can call out their team because they want them to be better. It's never to hate or put down. A great point. Dan Lazaro dropped a $2 super chat and says, temper expectations and you'll always feel like, or you'll always feel like crap. And he's right. Xbox Now dropped a $5 super chat and says, I will applaud them for diversifying their games. I may not have seen too much from me, but I am celebrating with those who are stoked. Great point. Chris R dropped a $5 super chat. Says, I agree with Mag on this one. Starfield looked great, but I'm officially getting impatient waiting to see the fruits of all the acquisitions. True. Brett Bingham drops an additional $2 super chat and says, bring the Xbox exclusive voice back. Yeah, I kind of was hoping that as well. Element OP dropped 2 super chats, one of $10. He says, I say it was a 9 out of 10. They hit notes for every type of gamer. It was gameplay versus trailers. Forza looked amazing and innovative. Diablo 4 was amazing. Starfield is still a killer app. Persona finally, Michael Morrison, good friend of the program, dropped a $5 super chat and says, I totally agree with Daniel McGee. And Daniel McGee had a pretty good take on it yesterday. Elemental PO's second super chat of $2 says, Cocoon, period, looked like it's using that SSD. And maybe, for sure. Lucky Mo dropped a $5 super chat yesterday and says, for average gamers like me, it was very impressive with the show. I was very impressed with the show. I saw many games that I wouldn't usually buy, but I'm willing to give a try. That's a great point. And let's get into the super chats today, and I will get to them momentarily, but I do want to get to Zemi Game. Zemi, thank you for being here, brother. We didn't get a chance to talk. I'm interested to get your personal feelings. I know that Starfield and the leather bomber that Todd Howard is known for even had matching sneakers. You got to give that guy a 10 out of 10 for style. What were your takes from the show, brother?
Let me just lead with the score, 9.5.
Okay, that's awesome.
All day,
why was it a 9.5 out of 10 for you, brothers? Break it down.
Yeah, I mean, and let me just say, I agree with everything that Archimedes said. Xbox needs to get better at pushing out first-party games, 110%. But going into this show, my question for me as a gamer was, what am I going to play this holiday, right? And Xbox delivered that answer. Now, I think everyone wanted that answer delivered via first-party games, and unfortunately, we're not getting that. But we are getting games nonetheless into Game Pass, and a crap ton of them. I mean, every 2 seconds, it felt like Game Pass was popping up on the screen, right? As Dusk Falls is one of them that I've been really, really excited about.
I know you're very excited for that, dude. Yeah. It looks really good. It does look really good.
Yeah. And I get it's not everyone's type of game. And that's fair, but I really like those types of games. And I believe it's coming into Game Pass. High on Life, the game where the guns talk to you. That reminded me of Skippy from Cyberpunk 2077. And it had that entire trailer just had me cracking up. And that's another one that's coming into Game Pass, I believe, this October.
It's actually a console launch exclusive for Xbox coming this year. I think it's October.
Does that mean timed exclusive?
It's a timed exclusive, basically. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
They have the marketing rights, and they have it on the console first.
Got you. Of course, Starfield looked amazing. I mean, the texture quality and the environments and everything, I absolutely loved. I heard some people talking about it looked like 30 frames per second to them. I don't know.
Which game was this?
Starfield. I've seen a lot of
30. It was 30 and it dropped even below that during the show. But hey, that's early in development. That's why they delayed it. That's why they have another year to polish this up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But regardless, I'm such a big Bethesda fan. I'm biased as hell. I thought the game looked absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to play that. Persona 3, 4, and 5 especially, I'm super excited to jump into later on, this year in the holiday season. Forza Motorsport, of course, is on the back end, but I thought that game looked absolutely stunning. And I cannot wait to jump into that. And then probably the show that the game that they showed that's coming out this year that has me the most excited is A Plague Tale Requiem, which I am pissed off that they did not give us a damn release date. I saw 2022 and I was like, well, I already know that. Like,
I've got
I
the
need
good
the release
answer
date.
for you. Today, Asobo tweeted out that they are gonna have a dedicated stream next week on 26th.
26th.
For Blake Tale, and that's when they are gonna reveal the release date. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
But even without getting the release date, I really enjoyed that trailer. It gave us a sneak peek behind, kind of what's going on in the story, kind of what to expect with certain characters, like the psyche that they're in. I absolutely adored that trailer. And a big reason why, I'm giving it a 9.5 is because, like I said, going into the show, I was curious about what games I was going to play this holiday. That's the big question that I had to ask, and they more than answered that question.
Well, I know that your number one game this year is Scorn. I mean, there's no doubt about Scorn.
No. Number one game this year, Hogwarts Legacy.
I gotta
sure.
bounce, guys. Sorry for interrupting.
Thank you so much,
yeah, have a great show.
Thank you.
And I see you guys soon.
Talk to you later,
certainly will,
Boxenberger.
Thank you so much.
Great
for
one.
stopping by.
Good points, Boxenberger, by the way. Good points.
Thank you.
Another thing though too is like, and I hear a lot of the complaints as to why, like, people are rating the show low. They wanted to see Fable, they wanted to see Perfect Dark and Hellblade and all these different games, and I get that. But like the way that I guess I'm rating the show is I'm rating the show on what I saw in the show overall rather than what I didn't see. Right, because Xbox has so much stuff, built up, ready to show.
Great point.
This was a 90-minute show, and I think that was a perfect, amount of time to give to this show. I'm ranking or rating the show on what I saw, not on what I didn't see. We have plenty of time in the future to see Hellblade. We have plenty of time in the future to see Fable. Those games are coming. We know that they're coming. The VGAs is an opportunity this August during Gamescom. Xbox might want to do another show. That's another opportunity. And of course, we have, yet another. I guess we have E3 coming back next year. There's so many other shows in the future. I think it makes sense to focus more on shows or more on games that are coming sooner rather than later. But who knows? This next show that's going to happen tomorrow, they might do a deep dive and show off some of these older games. Older games that we haven't seen for a very, very long time.
And you're onto something. Again, tomorrow is a big question mark. We know that there's going to be new content. That's confirmed. Now, new content, what does that mean? Well, that can mean pretty much anything. There's going to be some deep dives. Are deep dives into the new content or deep dives into what we saw? Again, we don't know. We will be covering that. And I say we, the Xbox Factor podcast, will be covering it. Zemi's going to be making a return tomorrow. Obviously, anyone that wants to join, by all means, please just pop on in. I'll send DMs to everybody. And we're going to start at 12:30. We're going to do a little talking. We're going to watch the 90-minute show, and then we're going to do a 30-minute post-show, conversation. And then, of course, Wednesday evening, we're going to be back at it, Primetime Gaming. This Thursday, there's going to be an hour show. I'm trying to get a guest for that. I'll be making that announcement shortly. I'm talking to somebody to get them on to do the X-Vlog Live. And, of course, then on Friday morning at 10 a.m., right back at it with Breakfast with Boom. But listen, before we bring N64 Josh into the conversation, let me catch up on some of the Super Chats. It's been, my God, there's so many of them. Thank you for the generosity, folks. As we close in on, wow, holy matrimony, ladies and gentlemen. This was an impromptu, Josh. 600, nearly 600 people, Josh. This is bonkers. Drawn TJ, good friend, generous friend of the program, just a $5 Super Chat, says, morning, guys. The show was a 7. Rick and Morty game looked great. Okay, I hear you. Brett Bingham drops a $2 Super Chat and says, High in Life has a baby. Mr. Me Seeks Gun. Yeah, it's that game looks bonkers. It's one of my most anticipated games of this year now. It really is, just because I thought it looked like an Insomniac game, and I love Insomniac. So I'm all in for that. And Rick and Morty, well, what could you say? That's it. Spartan Ghost drops a £2 Super Chat and says, oh my God, Starfield has a silent protagonist, ? What BS? Yeah, I don't know if that's it. I mean, he didn't talk, but that doesn't mean he won't, or he or she. I would imagine you can make your own character. So I don't know.
You can. Yeah, they showed the character creator.
Oh, so did the character talk or
no, they didn't show that. I mean,
okay.
They just show the character creator.
But you can make a male or female character. Okay, good. Thank you for that. RWK88 drops a $2 super chat. Says, I'm confused. Did I watch a different show or something? I don't know whether that's good or bad, but please, you don't have to drop an additional super chat, RWK. Just throw your comment in there, and I will try and answer it. Spartan Ghost drops an additional £2 super chat and says, also, hi, everyone. Yesterday's show was bad, 4 out of 10. Gamers Play HUD Zero drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says, I feel that the Unreal Engine 5 is the problem. Push everything back. I mean, delays are coming, and it's not just Xbox. It's going to be a lot of people. I think this is going to be a very light a holiday season for games. I really do. Spartan Ghost drops an additional £2 super chat and says, seems David Jaffe was right about mismanagement. Yeah, that's a question that we are not going to cover today. It's a question that is going to continue to come up, though. It is certainly a lot of people have thoughts and some opinions about it. I think we might talk a little bit about it on whether or not is there an issue on Wednesday's prime time. But again, I'm going to talk with the guys and see if they want to cover that. And maybe we will. Maybe we will talk about that on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Our Argato Sir drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, I enjoyed the show, but we've seen Hellblade for 2 straight Game Awards. Show probably going to see it at the third time at this year, and I agree. I think it's going to show up at the Game Awards again as an actual fighting demo. You can actually see some combat. It might come out at late 2023. That's insane. Love the show, guys. Thank you so much for that, brother. And yeah, it looks like that's potentially going to be a holiday game next year. Raiden Blade drops a £5 super chat and says, Xbox can never win. Show CGI L, show Indie L. Everyone was happy seeing the beginning. High five. Everyone got upset over the middle, but happy with the end. Yeah, the middle dragged, Raiden, to be honest with you. It's not terrible. Like I said, I give it a solid B. If I got to school, if I went back to school now, which at 52, ridiculous. But if I went back to school and I came home with a B, I'm having a party, ladies and gentlemen, because a B is pretty good. That's an 8 out of 10 for me. That's what this show was. I wish I would have seen some of the stuff that I thought I was going to see, but you know what? Maybe that happens Tuesday. Not a terrible show, not the worst show, though it is going to be a bad year for Xbox first party this particular year. And next year is going to be something special. There's no doubt about it. Pixel Bit G, generous friend, good friend of the program, drops a $5 super chat and says, I judge based on what was there, not my feelings. Zemi, you said that, or something similar to that.
Something like that. Yeah.
In terms of content, the games I want to play, this is an 8 out of 10 showing. There are 20 games for me there. That's awesome, dude. And that's a strong opinion. We also have the Brandinator drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, was a 12-minute window, 30-plus games, Starfield Redfall included? I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying. They spent some time on 2 important IPs, and I'm glad they did that. I think Redfall needed to show, and it did. And Starfield, man, I don't know. I mean, if you're not excited for that, I hear you. Flintlock is one of my games of the show. That game looked freaking amazing for sure. Love the protagonist. Love everything about the graphics. Very Assassin's Creed-esque, if you will. Right up my alley. Third-person, single-player, narrative. I love it. Servant117, wow, a $20 super chat and says, absolutely love the show. I have 0 complaints about yesterday. Was it what was there not to be happy about? Every game will bring in more people to Xbox, and you can't argue that for sure. I will catch up on the rest of the super chats momentarily. Josh64, let's get your raw opinions on this. You sat back, you watched it, you did your stream. How are you feeling 24 hours later? Did you get a chance to rewatch the event?
So Servant, who just did the super chat, we sat down last night. We recorded 5 videos on the Xbox Now channel, just kind of doing deep dives.
Awesome.
Yeah. We kind of just went through and like kind of picked the trailers apart a little bit, not in a negative way, but like try to look for extra details and kind of, little
Some of the stuff you would have missed covering it live. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. And kind of rewinding, especially like Scorn, we spent a lot of time with. We were just like, what is this game? Like, what is this like
it's
a
wet,
meat
it's
factory?
Gross, it's
like,
slimy, it's everything Demi loves in
I
the
say
game.
that all the time. I say, what is Scorn? I say it all the time. Never positively, just all the time though.
Scorn?
Yeah, it's like Dead Space meets BioShock, and I don't know. Maybe I'm there for it. I'm not
it's
really
very
sure.
H.R. Geiger inspired for sure. It definitely hangs heavy on that.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, overall, I work in marketing, right? So I look at it from two different perspectives. The hardcore Xbox fan probably not super happy about this. We are Xbox fans because of games like Halo, Forza, Gears of War. I mean, I still will always beat the drum of Crimson Skies. Like I can't not do that, right? But
keep wishing it might come true.
Who knows? Who knows?
Phil likes that game. He talks about it often.
That's right. But what I saw yesterday is Xbox diversified everything so well. This was not another 90 minutes of straight shooters, which is, and I'm exaggerating, but that's a lot of times what we end up seeing. We just see a lot of shooters.
It's known as the shooter box, right? The dude box, the dude shooter box, right?
No more.
Yeah.
No more. And I mean, I feel like some of the stuff it almost gets kind of brushed under the rug a little bit. That Riot stuff is huge,
dude.
Like,
no one's talking about that. See, now again, let me just. I'm going to just jump in front of you for a second.
Please.
See, to me, Josh, the Riot stuff, it doesn't hit because that's not me. That's not what Mr. Boomstick is. But here's the thing: monthly, don't they have something like millions upon millions of players? In numbers. Bringing that to Xbox Game Pass. Now, again, it's not coming to console, but it's coming Xbox Game Pass on PC and mobile. It's a big deal, Josh. My question is to you, how big of a deal?
I'm celebrating with those who are excited. Right? That's where I'm at. Am I going to, like, if I end up building a PC and find more time to game, then maybe I'll be able to take advantage of those. But I mean, let's see. League of Legends has 150 million registered users.
Holy matrimony.
And around 125 million of them are active monthly players. So like for them to sign up monthly to get all the heroes or whatever, all the legends.
Well, it's what are we talking about, Josh? Is that Phil Spencer's overall plan coming to fruition? 3 billion gamers that he got clowned for. He's a smart man. He's onto something. Yeah. And that number that you just said, 150 plus million, is bonkers.
Right. And then what did we talk about a week or two ago with the Roku and the Amazon Fire Stick, and now Samsung has an app. Right. So I just sat back and watched what I felt like was Xbox thriving. I felt like I understand as a hardcore gamer, if they had given me a tease of Gears of War, I would have been over the moon. If they had said, here's Blood Gulch in Halo Infinite, I would have been over the moon. Right.
I would have fallen off of my chair.
Yeah. But that wasn't there. But all this other stuff that I didn't watch all this and go, man, a lot of this is for me. And that's okay. I see a healthy Xbox taking risks and reaching a much broader audience. And that is the best thing possible for the Xbox community.
Well, what are they trying to do in a nutshell here, Josh? I love your marketing brain that you're using right now. Again, I said this before, once the ABK deal is done, I remember I called this. I'm the only one that has called this. Game Pass for mobile is coming. It's going to be $5 a month. I'm telling you, that's going to be a thing. Now, I don't have an insider queue. I didn't sit down with Phil last night for dinner and said, hey, over steaks and potatoes, hey, what do you got going on with Game Pass for mobile? But I just think that in the bigger scheme of things, once they get a hold of King, they're going to incorporate all of what they do good in the mobile space, add some Xbox flavor to that, and you do a $5 a month, $4.99 a month thing, you're going to have billions of dollars coming in. And please continue.
I'm checking a quick number real quick here. This is the Call of Duty mobile downloads just for kicks. It's surpassed 500 million downloads across iOS and Android. So when that ink dries, right, all of a sudden 3 billion is off. You're getting a lot closer. You know what I'm saying? You're getting a lot closer. So I don't see anything negative whatsoever. I understand the passion of the hardcore. I'm empathetic to the hardcore because it's what I consider myself. I may not spend a ton of time gaming on Xbox any longer, but I am a huge Gears of War fan, a huge Halo fan.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah.
And so, but as a longtime Nintendo fan, I've watched I've watched that company go from, backed up to the corner to thriving. When the companies are thriving, things have a tendency to get a little bit weird. When things get weird, it expands to a much larger player base. It also allows for risks to be taken, right? Game Pass, my favorite thing that I've seen on Twitter over and over again after the show is that the Xbox Game Pass player base is going to be feasting. And there's no question there. We have a $15.99 a month risk to try all 30 of these games, or 36 games or whatever it was. That, I mean,
I got the number in front of me right here, just for if you count all 3 personas and not just being it one particular brand, it is 35 games shown, all 35 games going into Xbox Game Pass day and date.
Amazing. I mean, a game like High on Life, for me, no, it looked goofy, silly, not really something I want gritty. I want
blood and guts. You want chainsaws.
I want Gears. I want even Doom, right? But I love that it's there because I love that there's brand behind that game. When you say the words Rick and Morty, all of a sudden you have a whole, I would say, just a massive player base that all of a sudden, oh wait, we're Rick and Morty. I'm now interested in this. That's a huge play.
That's why I'm glad it's a timed exclusive. Now, again, they didn't specifically say, is it a year? Is it 6 months? Whatever it is, but it's still launching on Xbox first, and that, my friend, as you would say, moves subscribers.
Exactly. Who's not going to try it, especially if they have the option to pick up a $99 backbone and just play it on their phone, or if they have a Samsung TV and they don't even have to purchase a Series S or X, right? Like there's just so many, and I can't remember.
Danny Pena actually posted some video. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. And then if you know who Danny Pena is, well, then you just woke up because Danny
love the guy.
He's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Obviously, he started the Gamer Tag Radio with Paris and some of the people over there. And he sat down. He showed a video of him playing on the Samsung TV, and it looked and operated as if he was playing on console. Josh, it looked bonkers good.
Yeah, amazing.
Hey, Boom.
Yes, sir.
OBM needs you to send him the link again.
Oh, okay. Let me do that right now.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you for that. We're gonna get another special guest in here. This is lovely. Okay, here we go.
Just to add something real quick. Does anyone else get like the feeling? I mean, like there was so many games that were shown off yesterday that said like console launch exclusive, and with those being timed exclusives, like I mean that's really like shocking to me. I don't care if a game is timed exclusive or not personally, but I was kind of starting to feel like Xbox was forgetting how to do a timed exclusive deal because like
you are on
it's been a really long time since we've really seen them take that path.
Yeah, 100%.
It overall, my the excitement level very high. Watching the reflection of the red car in the black car in
ridiculous.
I mean, I know we're never gonna see that when we're racing, right? But if we jump into the photo mode or whatever, I said it on Xbox Now when we were going over that video yesterday. I'm like, I'm selling wallpapers. I will get you guys the Gumroad link. Like when Forza Motorsport comes out, I am selling wallpapers.
I'm selling wallpapers. I love it. That's amazing.
The game just looks phenomenal. And
yeah,
I mean, overall, if I was like, again, just my opinion, do 60 minutes of what's coming out in 12 months and spend 30 minutes on some CGI. Like maybe they swayed too far in one direction. Just come back and bring that balance a little bit to where we get a glimpse of Perfect Dark. Even just seeing Joanna reload the laptop gun, or watching whatever Gears character reloading the Gnasher, something along those lines. That's just teasing that there's something still there that kind of just feeds the hardcore a bit. I think we would have a little bit different narrative going on right now, but at the end of the day, there are going to be so many new players from around the world, which I think is a huge, huge win. I mean, what was that? 10 million player base. How many times did we see 20 million player base before it's a 10 million player base with some of these other games? This is no joke. Xbox is not messing around. And this has given us all something new to try in some cases, right? So I'm here for it. I think they did a fantastic job. And again, I'm empathetic with everybody, but I think the long game here is this is going to be one of the best things for the Xbox community, period.
Well, the brand is going to be opened up to a much wider audience. We're seeing games that were originally only on PC coming to console, where the Riot Games scenario or partnership is, I mean, I was watching the guys on Xcast, right? Like I saw they posted on on Twitter, on their official Twitter account, that you saw them, like they did a double take, like, what? Riot Games with Xbox, right. Folks. Again, not for me, not for Boom. I understand that, but it is a big deal. First of all, we got to get to Web Dave. We got to get to One Bad Mother. Hey, what's going on, brother? Thank you so much for joining us. Let me just catch up with some of the super chats, and then we'll get right to Dave and get his opinion on this. Danny Passion Official drops a $5 super chat and says, when it comes to talk about 2018, why is no one talking about 18 plus months of struggle due to COVID? 3 years isn't enough to release a AAA game like Hellblade. I hear you. I mean, again, listen, it's going to come next year. It's going to be holiday next year, and I'm sure it's going to be a modern day masterpiece. Raiden Blade drops an additional £5 super chat and an additional $2 super chat after a £2 super chat after that. And he says, we talk up indie games, but from the sounds going around the internet, indies are an L. Not for me. That's you never hear me come out of that. I love indies and shouldn't be there. Remember, Xbox had 3 studios. PlayStation takes 6 years, and you're 100% right. So listen, PlayStation has potentially a loaded handgun this year because their games were delayed from last year. And here's the thing: their 2 first shots were blanks. And I'm saying that as someone that I wouldn't pick up Gran Turismo for $1, okay? Because that game is still crap. Sorry. And I'm going to get right back to playing Horizon because apparently they just did another patch and there's a bunch of bugs fixed. The game is gorgeous. It is what I expect on a Sony first party, but that launched with a lot of bugs, a lot of question marks. Still has some, to be honest with you. And of course, we're getting the remake of the remaster times 3 for Last of Us, and it's a 1-to-1. I was originally like, yeah, I'm in day 1, but then I sat back and I thought about it. I said, man, $70 for the same game I already played. I don't know. I might have to hold off. I don't know if I'm going to be a day 1 on that. I love the game. I love the first one, but that's all Sony has this year. God of War, we just heard this morning from a different source. That's not the rat known as I won't even say his name. It's like Voldemort. Don't say his name because he's going to come and destroy the stream. You might show up and do like magic and turn me into a toad. I can't have that. Mrs. Boomstick likes me who I am. So I won't say his name, but we heard from someone else outside of him that it's probably going to be delayed. And you know what? If it needs it, who cares? Let it be delayed. It is what it is. Raiden Blade drops additional £2 super chat. Says, I'm happy with everything else with the show. Everyone can play. Yeah, I agree. Spartan Ghost drops an additional £5 super chat and says, I still have no confidence in Starfield's story. Seems very vague. 1,000 planets? ? I don't know, man. 16 times the detail. And As Dusk Falls looks great. Yeah, As Dusk Falls looks really good. We have okay, I don't even know how to pronounce this. Bornaman's status, abnormal status. There you go. Drops a $5 super chat and says, I know not all games are for every gamer, but for me, many FPS, not too many FPS. Diablo 4 and Benedict Fox looked so freaking good. I'm an old school flashback cat, so that's why that game hit for me. It says was good, was more hyped for Starfield before the showing. I mean, I walked away very impressed with Starfield. Not everyone did, and I hear you if not. If you didn't, if it didn't hit with you, that's cool, man. That's definitely cool. Raiden Blade drops who's been a member. Holy crap, for 14 months. Thank you for that, brother. He says, I only want to see Xbox games when they are ready. I don't want another Cyberpunk 2077. If you want games shown for a foreign development like Spider-Man for 6 years, yeah, I mean, you're making a great point there. Spartan Ghost drops an additional £2 super chat and says, confirmed character is silent on Twitter. And that's, of course, he's talking about Starfield being having a silent protagonist as to a voiced one. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed with that. I would like a voice character because, you know, you when you look at it, you think of like Mass Effect, and Mass Effect had so many dialogue things that were in that game. I would love to see the character talk or at least have some sort of a voice.
I agree. I would like to see that as well because I really liked it in Fallout 4. But like as for like single player like RPGs that Bethesda's done, I'm not sure about this Fallout 76, but Fallout 4 I believe is the only one that actually had a voiced character. Like all the Elder Scrolls games and all of like the Fallout games before Fallout 4, like there was no like the character, your character was not voiced. So yeah. I'm okay with it because I'm just used to it by playing Bethesda Bethesda games for all these years. But I see how it is disappointing for some people.
Pixelbit G actually says something pretty important. He says, drops $2 super chat, says, not having a voice character allows for more dialogue options. Indeed, I think you're onto something with that. Mm-hmm. Chris R drops a $5 super chat and says, I'm positive on Xbox, but I think yesterday's show officially pushed me into the impatient camp. I'm waiting to see some of their larger games, and you know what? You're right for saying so. Boba Fett Gaming drops a $5 super chat and says 12-month scope was fine, but close with a high energy AAA further out 4-minute montage of titles core gamers wanted to see would have changed the discussion. Yeah, I think you're right on that. Dan the Man Cunningham, hey Dan, what's going on, brother? Welcome. He says this after dropping a $5 super chat. Where the hell is Age of Empires 4? Damn it! Yeah, I thought that was going to get a release date for sure. And I will get to there's still more super chats. All right, let me pause the super chats. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for the incredible generosity. Let's get Web Dave in on the conversation.
Real quick, guys, 640 of you in here. If you love Boom as much as the rest of us, make sure to hit that like button, please.
Thank you, sir. That's very kind. I didn't even read. I didn't even see the number. Holy crap, 640 people. That's bonkers. That's just insane. Yes, sir.
I think the OBM is on a time limit. So you
might get him. Okay.
No, that's all right. I'm just taking my lunch. Go ahead, do your thing.
Oh, okay. So all right. So Web Dave, thank you for your graciousness as always.
Hey.
Dave, you were there with us. You had a lot to say yesterday, and very important stuff as always. You always bring so much to the table. Have you had a chance to sit back and digest the show? What are your current feelings? We're literally at the 24-hour mark right now as we closing on the 1 hour mark of this show. How are you feeling, brother? Have your scores raised or lowered since yesterday?
I watched it again, the whole show twice in 4K.
Good for you. Okay, great. Wow.
I have, I would say it is an 8 out of 10. I really wasn't disappointed in things that we saw. I know there was some lulls, that's for sure. But with they set it up at the beginning that there is we're going to show things that are coming out in the next 12 months. So with that set in stone, as far as their roadmap for this particular show, they delivered 100%, because that was what, you know, because of the, you know, and I know a lot of people in a lot of people in the chat, a lot of people. Poor Boxenberger, I love him to death, and but I mean and I'm not defending him or anything like that, but his point was that this fiscal, not fiscal year, but this actual year, calendar year, you know, there is no AAA game coming out between now and Christmas. And that was the point he was disappointed in that, but he wasn't really disappointed in the overall, you know, show part. He just thinks that they should have had a AAA game, and I agree they should have, but you know, their point is the fiscal year. So the fiscal year, we still got some more time. So we're going to get these other games, Starfield and things like that, most likely, or at least excuse me, Redfall, in the fiscal year. So that's a positive, you know, for me. But you know, I think that uh, overall it was good. Um, and the way I'm still gonna a slight hesitation on my final verdict of this show is to see what happens tomorrow.
Good point.
And and
Great
and,
point.
and the reason for that is because tomorrow they have the opportunity to show a few things that we didn't get today, and maybe fill in a few of these gaps and things that we're you know, maybe a little disappointed in, you know. But Starfield, oh my god, absolutely amazing, absolutely looked beautiful. The was it Wolong, Fallen Destiny? I
Yeah,
didn't
that
know
looked
anything about
fantastic. That's
that.
the one by
A-
Team Ninja. That looked fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, that's now on my radar as a game I really want to check out. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts. I thought it was good. You know, I think that I do have a lot of you know, potential still, of things that they can bring out. But as far as overall, I mean, Game Pass, it was truly, if you have Game Pass, you are really going to be winning this year. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
No, I mean, good stuff. Look, I'm going to say this. From a content creator's point of view, right? I don't like it when Xbox gets cheeky. And I'm going to tell you what I mean. I'm not a corporate guy, right? I don't wear a suit. I wear a t-shirt, I wear jeans and sneakers, and I'm retired, right? So I'm in the camp that when you tell me a 12-month schedule, I look at it from January 1st to December 31st. That's what the average human being, the average person is going to look at. I don't like this fiscal year shenanigans, okay? Because it's corporate speak, and you should not be using corporate speak to speak to your gaming fans. We're not a part of the corporate circle that turns for Xbox. We are consumers, and consumers need to be spoken to as such. When you say, the next 12 months, and you're saying that, listen, I get it. We have a lot of games coming in 12 months. That's awesome. No one's denying that. But do not use that as your tagline, as your go-to for a debate or some sort of a rah-rah for hype. That's unacceptable. You don't have anything. And again, if I want to be a D-bag, which I will not be, but I can turn around and say, you know what? All you have to do is look back. The last time the Xbox released a AAA game was December 5th of 21. We're not going to get a AAA game, or a banger, if you will, as the kids like to say, until spring of 23. That's 14 months. That's not a good look. I'm not dumping on Xbox. I understand I have a lot to play. Game Pass is the place to be. I'm going to be playing at least 20 of the games that were shown. Some of which they have no interest for me, but they have an interest for somebody. I do know that the future for Xbox incredibly bright. We know so much that's coming, and we don't know what's going to happen on Tuesday. But the corporate speak, I don't like that. I do not like that. Do not tell me that from July 1st to June 31st, June 30th, we're going to have all these games. I know that. I'm a content creator, but you shouldn't be speaking that way to your regular consumers. We go from January 1st to December 31st. That's what an average customer will consider a 12-month period. But enough with that. Let's bring OBM into the conversation. OBM, like I've asked everybody already, has your opinion been lowered or raised in the 24 hours post reveal of the Xbox Bethesda Showcase? I know that you had some things to say. You've been talking on Twitter. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, Boom, thanks for the invite. I was like, I couldn't resist the chance, so I'm giving up. I'm gonna have to eat on. I'm gonna have to eat while I'm in other meetings, just
well,
so I
thank
can
you,
be
sir.
on...
I appreciate that.
But it's too. This is the time of year for gamers, especially as like people who've been on the Xbox platform for a long time. This is something that we wait for, right? It is our Christmas for adults. I personally I get to open up more usually on these E3 or whatever we call this now. More surprises usually than I do on Christmas. So it is something we anticipate, and I think that's kind of been sort of the theme that I've been picking up since over the last since the show premiered in the last 24 hours. What I'm noticing is that a lot of people's scoring or their reactions to the show really depend on what their expectations were going in.
Yeah.
The general audience, it's so weird to see this. Like, you look at Keely's poll, like who's
dude,
basically...
I talked about this before you got here. 83% voted it was an A or a B, One Bad Mother.
Which I feel like would be higher than if you polled the average, YouTuber or influencer or people that are, hardcore enthusiasts, at least afterwards, because I listened to a lot of the post-show takes. They were all coming in like lower than that from the enthusiasts, and a lot of it had to do with expectation. So, I set that up to basically say that I came in expecting an amazing show. I said it on your show last week. I expected their best show, and probably since the early 360 generation, in terms of setting precedent and really selling their brand, things like that, and just exciting everybody. And what we got was a good one. So it did fall underneath what I was coming in looking for, and I do think a lot of that was because those expectations have been created over the last few years, whether that was, they've been showing games that are far out for the last 3 years, right? And teasing that stuff. So why wouldn't we come in expecting that? And for me, I didn't when we were watching the show live, it took me to like halfway through the show. I missed when Sarah said that this was all going to be within 12 months. So I was still looking for about, I'm like, okay, how are you going to fit all these games in here now in between all this DLC and, we're going to go back over, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and, Grounded, and all these other things that just felt like they would have probably been better served on like maybe the follow-up show and things like that. So while I was watching it, I think coming into that last segment before they talked about the changes for the Japanese, some of those Japanese announcements, and before Starfield, I was probably like mid-sixes feeling coming into that last segment. After that segment, I went a lot higher. I thought those were extremely important. They kind of made the show for me. And then rewatching it in 4K, it went up again. And what happened like when I rewatched the show is I came in now like I'm no longer disappointed about what's not there. I'm just going to focus on what is there. And when I did that and watched it in 4K, number one, Forza Motorsport looked like a completely different game in 4K. We didn't actually see it until you watched it in 4K. Starfield looked a lot better in 4K. Even some of these indies that like completely blurred out as I'm watching the show live, they all just kind of meshed together. A few of those really popped for me when I rewatched the show.
Flintlock was one of them.
Yeah.
Let's see. The one we just saw that popped up on the screen with the little girl looked freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, the art style was really, really cool. Like a few of those things just, and again, I think there was this sort of, me personally, I'll say I was, and this may have been how some of the other influencers felt, I was somewhat distracted by the realization that, oh wait, we're not going to get About today. We're not going to get Hellblade or, Combat or we're not going to get to see Compulsion's game because it's probably not early, 2023. So like when that realization hit, there was this negativity that kind of went through me during the show. And so I think that like Microsoft missed something there in terms of just setting the expectations pre-show. I think if they would have done that, if they would have given us 24 to 48 hours to kind of digest that and then go in with those, okay, this is going to be the next 12 months. This is what we're going to play in Game Pass. I think number one, that would have probably improved their initial reception. But I do think that going back and then you start looking at it more substantively, if I'm saying that right, looking at it that way and looking at what I'm going to be playing over the next 12 months, looking at the fact that we have a couple games that truly do represent next gen for different reasons, Forza with its, upgraded physics, its and its visuals, Starfield more for its scope. And I've talked to somebody behind the scenes for the last couple of years who's been telling me that, hey, this is a next gen only game, based on what Bethesda's wanted to do. Like the CPUs and the old systems just aren't capable. So this is like a true next gen experience from a gameplay standpoint. And kind of knowing that we have true next gen games coming in the next 12 months, just seeing how packed Game Pass is, and just you're looking at that roadmap and it's like, okay, last year's roadmap post E3 was really, really good. This is even better, especially if we start to add in Diablo, right? Like it starts to get kind of insane actually. And I think sometimes we get to a point where we're starting to take it for granted. It's like, well, of course it's just Game Pass. But no, it's like, these are things that are coming. They're not raising the cost of Game Pass while this service is improving year after year after year. 100%. And I will say the Japanese stuff is this, I would say the sum of those announcements is greater than the parts.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of which, I'm hearing rumblings that the Final Fantasy VII into Game Pass was held specifically for Square because they're celebrating the 40th. There's something going on with Final Fantasy VII per se. It's like it's an anniversary. I don't know. It's the
25th, I think.
25th anniversary. There's a good shot that is going to be announced when they do their show, because they are having a show specifically to celebrate Final Fantasy VII. It makes sense that that game is announced by them going into Xbox Game Pass probably that day.
16th of this month.
One thing that's clear, because I don't know, like because obviously we've been hearing conflicting rumors on some of the stuff, but the one thing that's very clear now is what Microsoft did with that messaging. When I say like the sum is greater than the parts, like individually there's some cool announcements there. I'm looking forward to playing I had Persona on the PlayStation. I just never was willing to dedicate 100 hours to sit down on the system and do it. But now that I can sit there and probably stream it on the iPad sitting in bed, right? Like that's just, this is a turn-based game. This is going to be perfect for, Game Pass streaming. That you bring in Kojima, and I'm no longer like a huge Kojima guy, but you can't deny his presence and his.
Oh, dude, it's still massive. He still hits in Japan. His name is still revered as one of the premier developers / creators
worldwide, right? Like not just Japan, but like worldwide, beyond the States. And then you bring in, and I mentioned this, I think right before I left yesterday, you bring in Team Ninja, who is today one of the premier studios for action games, like outside of From Software, and some people will actually argue they prefer Team Ninja's combat over From Software's. That they are very close in terms of like nailing that moment to moment gameplay loop. And now that you have a game now you have them back in the system, they're not only that, they're day one in Game Pass. And so all three of those are going to be day one in Game Pass. And it just sent a message that this Xbox is different. I think that was extremely important. Then there's things that like maybe don't appeal to me. And these were the things that from the enthusiasts, like maybe the bar was lowering, but they were extremely important in the overall scheme of things. The Riot Games announcement, not only because I saw in the chat, somebody said, hey, if you're an Xbox gamer, this does nothing for you. I disagree, because none of these things exist in a vacuum, right? Like if this raises the PC Game Pass engagement and it shows Microsoft a path with free to play games. Now, what that could mean things for Halo, that could mean things for Call of Duty, Warzone, right? Like this could give them some. This is going to be an experiment to kind of see how those types of games can, how they can form some synergy with the subscription, which is only going to help out that service overall.
It's going to grab gamers that Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo have been fighting for years.
Right,
and they're going to be coming to Xbox first because of the mobile aspect, because of the PC integration, because of cloud, and absolutely. I mean, you're knocking incredible points for sure. But listen, LBM, I know you only got a few minutes. What I want to do is I want to circle back around because I want to get everyone's quick hot take on what you expect the Tuesday show to be, and then we'll get everyone out of here. But before I do, let me catch up some super chats. We have a new channel member, Lord Roughness, my brother. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Kia Walker drops a $5 super chat and says, for him, it was an 8 out of 10. And I'm probably one of the few niche people that's excited for Pentiment. I mean, listen, that's going to be a game for somebody. Beast Mode drops a very generous. I don't know what monies that is. It could be a $5 or $10 super chat. He says, Wolong by Team Ninja, underrated announcement. Oh, dude, you are 1,000%. No one's talking enough about that. That game looks insanely good. And again, I think it might even be a timed exclusive for Xbox, but it's coming to Game Pass. That's huge. Pragmatic Eagle, good friend of the program, just a $5 super chat and says, agree or disagree. These are respectable opinions here. I'm glad we can have a peaceful discourse. Thank you for that about these things. 10 out of 10 show for me, and with the Xbox logo. Yeah, I dude, can't argue that. And Zemi Games gave it a 9.5 out of 10, and it slapped for him. And like I said, for me, I'm going to watch it one more time. I want to watch it a third time. I might give it the half point more. It's not going to be a 9 for me. It's going to be it is an 8. It is a great show. I enjoyed it. I wanted a little bit more. For me personally, I might give it the half point more, but I want to watch it at least one more time. Brett Bingham drops an additional $5 super chat and says, my biggest disappointments were Forza Motorsport launching in 2023 and no AOE 4 on console. Yeah. The Age of Empires, I really thought they were going to give but that might be Tuesday. Awful Grim Bones drops a very generous $5 super chat. Says, hey, Boom. That's right. I talk with Awful Grim all the time. He says, hey, Boom and panel. Happy to be here at the live show. Hope Plague's Tale drops on Tuesday. I think that announcement is going to mean it's going to drop into Game Pass. That game, I know that Zemi is super excited for that. Me too as well. Reggie Mobile 9 drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, great show, Boom and panel. As always, loved Starfield. It was what I expected and a bit more. I didn't expect Horizon graphics for a mass sandbox game. Yeah, dude. Thank you for the kind words, but yeah, you're 100% right on that. And Reggie Mobile 9 drops, who's been a member, for 20 months. Holy matrimony. Says, just a salute to you, Boom. 13 plus months in. Thank you so much for being a supporter, brother. And thank you for the kind words. And drops in game CLP. Drops a super chat and says, it was a great show, but where is FF Final Fantasy Remake? Yeah, dude, I think that is been held exclusively for Square, and it makes sense. Right, like they're celebrating the 25th year. They're having a stream. I think that happens, and it drops into Game Pass that particular moment. But let's circle around. Zemi Games, what are you expecting from the Tuesday show happening in what is 24 hours from today, brother?
I expect nothing, Boom. I expect nothing. Okay. I may hope. I may have some dreams, but I do not expect. No. I'm thinking interviews. Like, definitely have probably quite a few developer interviews. Some more deep dives on maybe some of the things that we already saw yesterday. Maybe a few, like announcements of for games that we've already seen. Like maybe we might get another Perfect Dark trailer of some kind, maybe something Fable. I really don't know. But like I said, manage your expectations, right? Don't expect, them to give you the whole world and then you get disappointed and then we all get sad, and just have a few hopes. Watch the show, enjoy what you see, and I think it's going to be a great show. I can't wait to watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. And we're gonna be doing that right here, ladies and gentlemen, live tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. ET. We're gonna start off with a half-hour pre-show, kind of get everyone ready to rock and roll. We're gonna watch the 90-minute show live, and then we're gonna react right afterwards. So tune in to this new Xbox Factor podcast tomorrow, starting at 12:30 p.m. N64 Josh, just get your opinion. What are you expecting in tomorrow's 90-minute extended show?
I only need to see one thing, and we already know it's coming on the 16th, and that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just maybe there's another character. I don't know. We just saw Halo.
That would actually be cool. Which I think it's going to be Yojimbo.
Oh, come on! Don't play with my heart.
I think he's coming, brother. I think that Yojimbo. If you don't know who he is, that is the Samurai Rabbit.
Oh,
but I also think you might get the Mech Turtle.
Yep. There you go. He was a boss in Turtles in Time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anything Turtles. I'm just keeping the expectations low. I think it's going to be some deep dives. If there's some if there are some surprises, right on, bring it. I still just hope we see it. Just 343 give us something. They just tweeted something about Fall Guys, so we may be seeing some Halo crossover in Fall Guys.
I would love that. I think they should have Gears. Cool. They should have Doom Guy. They should have. I don't know if you didn't play Fall Guys on the PlayStation, you're missing out. It is what a fun game to pick up, play for an hour. You're there 3 hours later. You're trying to get this crown. I absolutely loved it on the PlayStation. Cannot wait to play it on Xbox.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. So we'll probably see a little bit from them. Other than that, I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited.
Oh, and by the way,
games
Pelican in Flight Simulator. I mean, folks, are you kidding me? That was dope.
Go into space.
A nice
they did something I did not think that they were going to be able to do, and that was get me to download Microsoft Flight Simulator again, because I downloaded it as soon as I woke up this morning, hopped on Flight Simulator, started flying around in the Pelican. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's awesome. I haven't done it yet because obviously I was producing this show. But One Bad Mother, let's get you out of here, brother. What are your expectations for tomorrow's 90-minute extended program?
I'm going to be honest. Usually, this is going to be weird, man. I don't even have a good prediction or know what to expect. I think we're going to find out what what Microsoft's maybe what their strategy might be going forward and how they kind of deal with these shows. I didn't expect the 12-month thing yesterday, and so I'm assuming this is going to continue to be the complimentary after show to kind of deep dive into things. Maybe do some of the cleanup, some of the indies that are going to be day one, but maybe just weren't at that level to make the main show. Will end up being here. So that's kind of what that's normally what you would expect, but who knows? Like right now, I think we're still figuring out what Microsoft's strategy is. I think that the safe bet is to come in just expecting a little bit, to expect this just to be the what you would used to get with E3, right? Like where you would like the day after E3, that's when you see the media get the deep dives into some of the games you saw the previous day on the showcase. You might have learned about some cool little indie that just didn't make anybody's stage. So that's kind of I guess where the realistic place to be at is. It would be nice if we got a little tease of something else, but we'll wait and see.
Yep, only time is going to tell. And lastly, Dave, give us your opinion, brother. What are your thoughts on for tomorrow? What are you expecting or not expecting?
Well, Boom, I'll tell you what I'm expecting. What I'm hoping for is this.
I love it. Yeah, that makes two of us, brother. That makes two of us.
Actually, makes it there and didn't make the main show. Wouldn't we all be kind of a little bit agitated? But I don't know.
Well, they were showing the next 12 months, so maybe that's the reason that that's the show focus. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pipe dream, I know, but I know it excites you, and I think I think it would be great if they actually did it because it only makes sense. It's they need
it's time.
Xbox like other, companies, you need to have a diversity in gaming and diversity in game styles and play. All different kinds of games makes all different kinds of gamers happy, and that's what it's all about. So give us what we need. But I'm just excited, and like I said, it just kind of to see afterwards to see what it's like. But I think if they come through tomorrow, then it can definitely raise my overall score. So I'm still excited, and Game Pass is the biggest winner, and we are too for having Game Pass.
Yeah,
No super
100%.
chats.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, that is your special edition Xbox Factor podcast. We broke some records here. We had over 650 people tune into the live stream. Thank you so much for that. The super chats, we do have one more from, actually two more. We have Highlander001 drops a $5 super chat and says, I can't wait for Diablo 4, Redfall, and Starfield. Just remember, Sony wanted to make Starfield an exclusive the PlayStation 5. Now you can see why. There's no doubt about that. We have Jay Pacheco drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says Flintlock, Wulong, and Ravenlock aren't being talked about enough. This is why these games typically skip the Xbox platform. The discourse is weird. No, dude, we are going to talk about those games because all three of them looked amazing. Absolutely amazing. Very excited for that. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Obviously, we'll be doing this again tomorrow on the regular edition of the Xbox Factor podcast, but we will be covering, reacting live on the air for you during the extended Xbox Bethesda Showcase. We'll start that show at 12:30 p.m. ET. And of course, I want to thank the super chats that came in. There was quite many of them today and yesterday. Thank you so much for supporting Double Barrel Gaming. Thank you for the new and old channel members for continued support. And of course, I want to thank my panel for being here because guess what? We wouldn't have a show without a panel. Let's get to the outros. One Bed Mother, where could people check out your incredible weekly or bi-weekly Halo show? And more importantly, where could people reach out to you on social media?
Yeah, thanks again, Boom. It was fun dropping in here during lunch, and thanks for having me like always. If anybody wants to find me, you can find me on Twitter at mother_1 for my handle. It's I guess it's right up here on the screen, and I do pop into your podcast quite a bit. Also, I am a senior editor over at Xbox Era, so we'll obviously have content coming out here over the next few weeks. Post E3, so keep a lookout for that. And I have a host a Halo show bi-weekly called You Had Me at Halo. So easy one to remember. So we'll definitely have to touch base on Halo again this Thursday. It wasn't at the show. I didn't expect it there. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow they will give us something talking worthy, I guess, sometimes something topic worthy. But man, it's a good time to be on the Xbox platform. Been on this platform 20 years, and it's really fun actually being able to talk about it and cover it these days, because it doesn't look like it's going to be slowing down anytime soon. But thanks again, Boom.
No worries, brother. Thank you so much for being here. Definitely appreciate that. Zemi Games, sell your brand, brother. Tell them where they can reach out to you on social media. But more importantly, brother, where can people check out your new produced game called Back to School? And where could they get that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was getting distracted by the whole ship thing on the screen. I cannot wait to build my ship in Starfield. Oh my God, that looks so cool. Anyway, my game called Back to School. You guys can currently purchase it on Steam and Xbox for $4.99. It's a educational quiz game where you have to answer really, really challenging primary school questions to ultimately see if you're smart enough to graduate from elementary school. You guys can also check me out on Twitter at Zimmy Games. And yep, that's pretty much all I have. But Boom, once again, man, thank you so much for the invite today. I really, really enjoyed hopping to your show and letting out some of my opinions about yesterday's show.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for being here. Real quick, Skalitties dropped an outstanding $5 super chat earlier. 9 out of 10 show for me, he says. High on Life, Scorn, Forza Motorsport, Redfall, and Starfield. A bright 2022/2023. Why so much salt? And I believe we had one come in from, let's see, Danny Passion Official, he says,
I just
sorry.
added it.
Yeah, thank you, brother. He said he dropped $2 super chat. Sorry, I think you missed my super chats. And if I did, I apologize. And
Right
Web
below it.
Dave dropped that in. This is Danny Passion Official drops a $5 super chat and says, when is we I actually did read yours. Yeah, I did read it earlier. You might have missed it. You were talking about about 2018, why no one talks about the 18 plus months of struggle due to COVID. 3 years isn't enough to release a AAA game like Hellblade. And I agree, Joe. Listen, they've been working on it for a while. But they do also do motion capture, which that's their bag. So maybe that's why we don't have it. I'm okay waiting for that game to be perfection. N64 Josh, sell your brand, brother. Tell them whether people check you out on social media, but more importantly, TikTok and all of the other places you can find N64 Josh.
You guys, we're going crazy with content right now. The Xbox Now channel is back right here on YouTube. It's on TikTok as well. We're doing podcasts. We're doing the 10-minute videos. I've got a good little crew put together, and we're having a great time doing that. Of course, the Nintendo Powercast, the Halo Infinite podcast. I make a lot of content, you guys, a lot of content. If you want to jump into some Mario Kart with me or some Halo sometime, I'm literally N64 Josh everywhere, including my gamer tag on Xbox. So I'd love to get some games and talk Xbox.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. And last but no least, Web Dave, sell your brand, brother. Tell them about your incredible one-on-one interviews, top-of-the-line interviews with some of the biggest and brightest on the socials, and also where can people reach out to you on social media?
Well, thank you, Boom. Probably my links will be in the description, but it's Outbreak Podcast on YouTube, and of course, outbreakpodcast.com is our website where you get the links to everything we do. And this week's interview was great. Doom Cutie, I don't know if you've got to listen to her yet. She is awesome. She's on the Xbox Infinite podcast, and she super nice, super fun interview.
Very
Check
smart.
that out. I have 2 interviews coming up. I'm going to be doing BitCloud and King David. So
excellent.
Those are in the works.
Back-to-back great interviews. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Boom.
All right. Thank you so much for that, brother. And of course, I want to thank everyone for tuning in, breaking records as always. I'm always amazed by how many people tune into these live shows. If you're new, please consider hitting the like button. And of course, thank you so much for making, the Double Barrel Gaming a thing. But of course, I'll close out the show with something that's important to me, folks. Hopefully one day be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he said, son, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.